Hello and welcome back to another video. Welcome to the channel. If you have not been here before, my name is Brad. I chat about photography and honestly whatever I feel like because it's my channel. What are you going to do about it? What I want to talk about today is this nifty flash on top of the camera here. So this is a FUJI EF-X20. It is a consumer style small compact flash that goes on just about any camera that is small. I have used it on the R5 once or twice to check exposure sort of consistency across the board. If you do have a big lens on there, the light will catch on like the hood or the barrel of the lens and will leave a shadow on your image. So I would say generally small cameras only, don't put it on R5, don't put it on with a big zoom lens on it. It's gonna hit the barrel of the lens and give you a nasty shadow. I've had this flash for about 2 months now. I used it for a lot of events, a lot of portraits and street style stuff. And I guess I thought I would just give my initial thoughts so far. As I said, I've only had it for a couple of months and I've enjoyed using it for the most part. So there's a lot of things on this flash that are big drawbacks for me that I am not really enjoying and makes it harder for me to want to use. So let's start with the good stuff. The good stuff starts with the size. You can instantly see that it's quite small, it's compact, it's not too imposing on the rest of your setup. It's not adding too much weight or bulk. When I take it off there, I can't really tell that it was on there to start with, so that's a good thing. Another cool thing this has is there's a little switch on the side here, which I didn't know about until I got it, but it has internally a little diffuser thing, and I think other speedlights have it, where it just has a little sheet of plastic or perspex or whatever that is to cover the flash head, just to diffuse the light a little bit, so you might be able to see it moving when I flick it. It's kind of what it looks like. I haven't done too much A/B testing with it, but I think it does. In some ways, it reduces the power a little bit by putting something in it. So the power output is the same, but because it's going through something, you are losing a bit of power, but it is softening it just a little bit. I haven't done enough A/B testing to know whether it's a big deal or whether it's something I want to be using consistently or even really notice, but maybe that's something I could talk about in the future. Nevertheless, a cool little feature to have on a consumer flash. The last thing that I really enjoy about this flash is that it works across the camera systems, at least in manual mode. There's no TTL for other systems other than Fuji, but it works really nicely with my Leica systems. So the drawbacks, so the things that I didn't really anticipate when I was buying this flash unit. The first thing is the battery life. The batteries are shocking. I bought a lot of batteries and I went through probably 6 individual batteries in one night, and that's quite bad. I don't think I had to go through 6 batteries in any flash. I think the main issue with this is they are AAA batteries, so it's 2 AAA batteries, and I got the lithium, the Energizer lithium ones to put in there, thinking that they would last the longest, but I was quite wrong because the output is just quite inefficient. And I think I understand why, and it's because this is, once again, a consumer product and it's not really made for high-end professionals. It's meant to just be a walk around, hanging out with your friends on the weekend, taking pictures at a party, whatever, that sort of thing. And so I can understand why the batteries they kind of dropped the ball on, because they wanted to make it accessible to most people. AAA batteries are pretty cheap and you can get them in a pack of 20 or whatever, and it's not that hard to swap them out. That being said, I did some research after I had my first experience with it being pretty rubbish battery life, and I looked up, some people were having like shot rates of maybe like between 50 and 100 images before the batteries would go flat, and that is really, it's so bad. So that is one of the biggest issues for me and why I'm not particularly loving this flash. And I think all my issues dovetail into this battery life problem. The recycle speed on the flash, the rate of fire is really low as well. It might be 1 or 2 flashes before it has to recharge, and that can take, could take 30 seconds to a minute for it to recharge. As well as on top of that, the initial startup speed is so low. I've had times where I've had to wait almost like a whole minute for it to start up, and it's just not really acceptable. I think that's a particularly big ask to have a flash that turns on, like it's still not turned on properly. I've been talking for ages and it's still not. I turn it off between frames to conserve battery life, but when I want to turn it on, it doesn't turn on. So all these things aside, this is a very good flash. This is very good. Like, the output is nice and high. It's quite powerful given the size. I think it's a really good flash for what it is, but the biggest problems that I have with this are the battery life as well as the price. This flash, for what it is, as a consumer flash, goes for $800 on eBay, and it's really hard to get brand new at retail prices. And for $800, you're getting a flash that is a little unreliable and really spends the battery power very quickly. In terms of something that is a bit more of a direct comparison, there is the Contax TLA 200 or something that is about the same size and shape with a different battery that I have seen people use, and it has, I don't know about the battery life or anything, but it turns on instantly and has a nice high flash output. So that's something that I'm interested to try as an alternative to this. I think there are definitely better options, at least in terms of power and usability. It is difficult to consider whether you trade off the size for the usability, practicality, and the power. Bad battery life. It's tough, hard. I'm sure camera manufacturers work really hard to make a flash that is this small, that is just as reliable as like a Godox regular speed light. I don't know, man. Just like looking at this, I'm certain that there is a way to engineer this to get AA batteries in there. AA batteries would change everything for this flash, I think. Oh, I've got a little bit of a Super Saiyan hair going on there. I think that my biggest issue is that I have another flash that I've talked about in other videos, and it was $150 from Amazon, and it is some, I don't know, like plastic garbage. It is the most random piece of kit that I've ever bought. It was $150, and that thing has AA batteries, already a step up. The recycle time is really quick. I can probably get between 5 to 8 images before there's a recharge. The thingy comes, the flash head comes off of the receiver, and you can use it Bluetooth. Like, for $150, you're getting so much more than something that is at the moment costing $800 Australian. There's just something that really bothers me about this whole situation. I thought this might be, the flash to end all flashes. In terms of value for money and compromises, I think it makes way fewer compromises than this does. And so that is why I don't like this. It's because I had such a good experience with a cheap, random, probably Chinese flash. And this Fuji brand name flash doesn't seem to hold a candle. I don't want to be changing batteries every 50 to 100 photos. So if you are looking to pick up a nice flash, this one's decent. If you have the money to spend and you don't mind messing around with a bunch of AAA batteries and the slow startup, then maybe this is for you. If you are someone who takes 1 or 2 frames at a time, maybe this is for you, but I don't think it's for anyone who's looking for a professional level. These are just my thoughts. I appreciate you watching and listening to me rant and complain. I just thought it was worth knowing because this is hot property. Like, this is something that people really want, really desire, and I think these are some thoughts that I have that people should know on the front end. So before you buy it, listen to me. All right, see you later.